Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Culturally Irrelevant, the podcast where we discuss a collection of today's most culturally significant topics. We stay grounded in a biblical worldview. We have a lot of fun along the way. My name is Miguel. I'm joined by my best friends, fast becoming yours, Dave, Will, and Brandon. Boys,
Crocs.
How are you doing tonight? That was fantastic. Fantastic.
What was that? It was chair. It was Will's chair.
Wow.
That's what happened. You put the Crocs on.
No, I saw.
I thought it was me getting ready to burst. I just had a bowl of ice cream and raw brownie butter before we started the show tonight, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but I'm here to prove the conspiracy theory wrong. That what Big Batter has been telling us all these years is a lie. You can eat it raw; it ain't bad for you. Just go.
We're
It's
not
absolutely bad for you.
We're not glossing over
not.
what just happened. Will's chair almost broke.
I was just trying to cover for the man.
Bro, we're not. Why would we do that? That's the funniest thing that's ever happened at the beginning of a podcast.
That's why I need a gamer chair.
I do need a gamer chair. I need something that can conform to my body as I sit here and listen to you people drone on.
Is that an Urban Millar?
Did you just have a stroke?
Is
I
that
always
a
think
that?
I always feel like you guys are more cultured than you are, so I have a problem when some of these references. You don't.
It's true.
Surely
Underestimate the level of our culture always.
Surely you know Herman Millar.
I do not.
All right, never mind.
I know Peter Millar. I wear his shirts.
No, Herman. Herman makes the the world's best office chairs. Like they're like the really nice ones. You probably have one in your office. You work in a nice place. I'm sure they're ponying up for Herms.
How dare you? How dare you?
Have you never been to his office?
He's never
Will's
been to my
office?
No.
Ooh.
It's in a storage unit.
He just went to his office for the first time last week.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his other office.
No. Definitely not that office, David. Definitely not that office.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the DC Journal Hatecast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rogan.
Some of them.
What's his last name?
Guys, you've been cooking about this all day, but I've been a little lost on it. So fill me in on why we're hating on this guy.
I want to hear David explain this.
Look at a picture of him, and you'll know.
So we're hating on him because he's ugly?
No, he's a conservative
Hack.
influencer.
He's a word that starts with a T and rhymes with cool, but it's not cool. It's the opposite of cool.
Sometimes you find them in a shed.
He's
All the time.
He's
Find
a
him hanging.
tad.
Yeah, you find him hanging in sheds all the time. Dad.
I thought we talked about this, about the Epstein thing, but
We kind of got rushed through last week for a lot of the stuff. Yeah.
We did. But the hate was more toward people in the administration and not enough hate thrown at the idiots holding empty binders, standing on the West Exec for a show.
I may be repeating myself, but if you look at the video, those guys could have left with their binders tucked away. The press wasn't there for them. The press was there for Keir. Not from Severance, but Keir from...
I was like, hey, what?
Oh, great
from
Keir?
England.
Okay,
Oh, great
got
Keir.
it.
But he walks towards the press, holds up his binder, which is, with his full reach, it was reaching up to about 5'5". And he was just so proud with it, with his little vest on. And then he just never apologized. He never took the blame for what happened that day.
Double down.
What is happening? I think I might die.
I just
hear
heard
Is that coming on
Yeah.
your end? It sounds like somebody's angry out there, brother.
I thought that might have been Brandon because he's got
I
his
don't live in the
window
best
open.
of neighborhoods. I won't lie to you guys.
So if we hear pop, pop, pop and we see you run,
Yeah, it's a dive down and then roll over. So I'll roll over the laptop.
so you've been planning for this for a while now.
Sometimes I hear commotion. I just kind of sink
Hey,
into my chair.
When you live in the hood, you got to be planned to act in the hood at all times.
It's not fully the hood, but it's hood
David?
adjacent. Yeah.
Do you back into parking spots for this reason?
I don't understand why we have to do this.
I don't
This
back
was
into
like
parking
3 episodes ago.
Because it was a bad take.
It was an
It was
awful
a
take.
great
It was a
take.
really-
If you live in
No.
the hood, you always back in parking because
That was not
gotta
your
go.
justification. That
You
was
gotta hop
not
in
your
and go.
justification.
You
That
never
was
mentioned
my
that.
justification.
I
that
didn't
was
bring it up.
I brought
You
that
brought it
up.
up.
That's
No,
right. I
Miguel,
brought that up.
Your reasons were geometrically.
Yeah.
That was one of many valid reasons. It's easier to back in than it is to push in. Yes.
So you're still on that. It's easier to back in.
Guys, we're not going to rehash this again because we chose to come into this episode without a show sheet. That was a you choice, and I will not bear the brunt of being ridiculed again for my back ending.
We're going to talk about it.
We're talking about what the people
We're
want
going
to
to
hear.
talk about that, and we're just going to have a segment called Miguel's incredibly bad takes.
I don't know that I want to prepare for a segment like that. It doesn't.
Well,
feel
you
like
don't have to. We'll do it for you.
We'll do it.
We'll start with the parking lot situation.
Here, Miguel, what's your
passing it off.
favorite entry in the Matrix trilogy?
Probably has to be Matrix 4. Honestly, when they brought everything back around and had Keanu Reeves playing Neo, playing Keanu Reeves, it was like triple Inception. The best film in the series is number 4, 100%.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh man, dude, it's crazy. They trap Neo in the Matrix by making him think that he's really famous for all the things he actually did. It's, I'm telling you, you got to watch it.
Oh, this is the new one.
It's worth the 3 hours. Yeah, I'm talking about the 4th one.
And then, but your favorite before that was the 3rd one.
Yeah, I mean, just the way it ties it all together at the end, and I mean, spoiler alert, but very messianic type of sacrifice for a people, and I don't know. I thought it put the bow on the series really well. I did like the 3rd one.
Okay, was this Nerd Hour, Brandon West?
No,
He's
he's just baiting me. He's just baiting me into saying things that are apparently super offensive.
How about we go for the low-hanging fruit and the fact that you said today that escape rooms are really dumb.
Escape rooms are the most ridiculous concept of entertainment.
I'm afraid he might get some support for that, so that's why I'm not wanting to bring it up. So.
I don't think they are. I think you have to be smart, and it's challenging, and you have to think outside the box.
Do you like puzzles? Do you like sitting around and putting jigsaw puzzles together too? Because those are also dumb.
Everybody does.
Bro,
No.
Wait,
no.
what?
It's the
Are
same
you even a
type of-
human?
How am I going to look for fun by challenging myself with something that is somebody? Oh, I made a piece of art and then I broke it into a million pieces. Now put it together and have a good time. How does that make sense? That's what an escape room is.
You find
It's a
the fun
puzzle.
by
You
finding
gotta-
the pieces, Miguel.
You're trapped in here, and now you got to put all these clues together and figure it out. Like, no, that's work.
All your critiques are just explaining what the thing is and saying that's crazy. You're not actually giving a reason why you don't like doing it. You're not giving real reason.
You have to master it before you can criticize it. Sorry, bro.
This is a bad take.
Puzzles are amazing.
Guys,
do you not like crossword puzzles?
You're telling me that if I tell you you have some free time, you have 3 hours to do whatever you want to, you're going to gravitate in any context towards puzzles? No.
I do
puzzles are going to be the last thing you go for.
I'll do a big puzzle like once a year.
That's just virtue signaling.
Usually with a friend. No, tell people usually with a friend. No, I've probably done 100 puzzles.
In your lifetime?
Yes. Wow. As a kid, bro, I was homeschooled.
Have you seen the video series of the people that prank other puzzle makers? I don't know what they're called, but like they wait until they finish the puzzle, they put the last piece on, and they're like videotaping the success, and then they come and swipe the puzzle right off the table.
They should go to jail.
Hey, it's pretty brutal, but it's the only way that
I will say
enjoy engaging with puzzles.
After you finish the puzzle, you don't ever hang it or like frame it. You're just done. You put it back in the box.
Did you ever see the thing where you can actually take a puzzle once it's completed by each side, and if you slide it off the table and just lift it straight up, it will the whole thing will stay intact. You can hold it like a little. Like
you're
a
not supposed
sheet.
to like glue it or tape it together. It's just you're done, and then you put it back in the box.
What do you do with Legos when you're done?
So somebody makes it,
back in the bin,
breaks it, then you put it back together to re-break it and put it in a box, and you're telling me that that's a good time.
95% of the world would agree with us.
Conceptually, we're never going to get this across to Miguel. So I don't know why we sit here and like try to explain puzzles and the.
What's the sound effect that we make during tonight's episode when Miguel has another bad take? Let's go with Will's. I like that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well,
Perfect.
speaking of bad takes, somebody give me a bad take.
Speaking of bad takes, what's up with Donald Trump trashing the greatest congressman that we've had in Washington over the past 15 years?
You can't be talking about Matt Gaetz. Come on now.
I'm getting sassy because my boy Massey is under attack right now. And
He's under attacky.
He's under attacky for no good reason. Acky.
What do you do? I didn't see this. What
Trump is apparently endorsing Lindsey Graham to take Thomas Massey's seat in Congress. Like, that's not what we want. That's what nobody wants.
Wait. Isn't Lindsey Graham a senator?
No, he's no longer a senator. I think he stopped being a senator of... Didn't he stop being a senator a couple years ago?
No, he's a senator, dude.
He's a sitting senator.
Is he?
Yeah, I wasn't wrong.
Who is it? Maybe I'm thinking of Newt Gingrich.
Wow, this story rules. I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea what you're talking about. And
I came in confidently.
This is what happens.
Just had to correct me.
This is what happens when you have no show notes.
Did you hear that Mike Johnson might become Speaker of the House?
Or the President pro temp of the Senate.
Oh.
Yes. So so the beef over that is obviously where the president. It kind of dovetails off of what we talked about last week when I said that speech, the State of the Union speech, was devoid of any sort of like policy agenda, like legislative agenda. The president didn't really also lay out any real clear path forward when it comes to fiscal responsibility. Now, Greg Steube, who is a Florida congressman, voted for the continuing resolution and made the statement that he had talked to the president, and while voting for a continuing resolution, spending money, a la Reed, spending money that we don't have, while voting for a continuing resolution is against his better judgment, it's actually opposite to everything he stands for. He trusts the president and his commitment to fiscal responsibility. So, to answer your question, like Thomas Massie just kind of does what Thomas Massie always does, which is whatever Thomas Massie wants to do. We got the CR across the finish line. The president has said that he's going to commit himself to fiscal responsibility, and there is a method behind this. There's a method to the madness here. That is, if you get a continuing resolution that passes everything that we could ever want through Congress this year, he can spend the next 3 years
just
shutting the government down if he wants to. And it's not a bad plan. He's just got to be committed to it. And truth be told, we're likely going to lose at least one of the bodies of the midterms, either the House or the Senate. So he would then have to work with Democrats to get a continuing resolution across the finish line. And honestly, we're going to shrink the workforce so small in this first couple of years. There's not going to be, like, you shut the government down, big deal. Like,
ooh, yeah.
Keep on.
That makes sense.
Nothing else changes. So what? The government shut down. Okay.
Then why are we bothered by Thomas Massie's stance?
Because he's annoying with his little debt clock thing. And
that debt clock thing is cool. You know it's cool. We're gonna start selling them on our merch site as soon as that's available.
Wait, so what is the actual beef that Trump has with Massie?
Because he was the only Republican that voted against the CR. So, but Thomas Massie, it's not that Thomas Massie does whatever Thomas Massie's going to do. Thomas Massie does what Thomas Massie says he's going to do, and he's been very consistent all the way along. And I'm sorry, just a correction on myself.
The same thing.
Well, hold on. The correction for myself is that it was two different points that I conflated as I was reading it real quick. Trump's campaigning for Lindsey Graham, which isn't that cool, but he's trying to primary Thomas Massie, which is also not cool. So, but it's not the same thing. Thomas Massie has been consistent with his stance. It's not like it's just he shows up one day and he's like, I feel like going against the grain today. He's going. The only CR that he's ever voted in favor of, and people are using it against him to say like, well, it happened under Joe Biden, but it was when Kevin McCarthy reneged, as the tweet says, on his promise to cut spending by like 2%, but it never happened.
This is almost as bad as your AI talk. It might be tied. This is awful.
I feel like I'm saying things that
you're sticking up for
are
a guy
informative.
That nobody.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just because he says what he wants to do and
You're
does
in the
it.
minority for the Massie.
Yeah, we don't agree with you.
There are no masses.
The masses are not for Massie.
I found it.
That is shocking.
Nice.
Thomas Massie is a treasure. He must be defended. He's the only true constitutionalist in the House.
Isn't he a senator? What are you talking about?
No, he's not a senator.
He's a congressman.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Here's the thing, mate. No one cares, and you're wrong. So, what else?
This will make a good TikTok clip. A lot of people care. We can continue on if we don't care about.
We can talk about
Thomas
Traumas.
Massie.
You called him Traumas.
What?
He called him Thomas.
You did mispronounce him as Thomas Macy.
Sorry, I was talking too fast.
You got really excited there. I will say...
Because it makes me angry.
It makes you angry? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
of course.
You know what it makes me angry? When Twitter shuts down for like 5 hours and I have no idea.
Am I the only one
idea
that
what to
didn't
do with
experience
myself.
this? I never once saw any interruption of my X usage whatsoever.
Well, it depends on what server you're receiving your Twitter from. So, it's not going to affect everybody equally.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I don't want to bore David, so I'll make it quick. I'll tell you a quick thing where so I follow this Twitter account or X account, excuse me, where it says all these deals that are on the internet. So a lot of time it's like price glitches and stuff like that. So my notifications from X were still coming through just fine. And I got one that popped up that said the Xbox Series X is on Walmart.com right now for like $105. Normally those are $500, but X wouldn't load. I tried to click it so I could find the link to get the thing, but X just kept. It was the worst. Like, it was the worst thing that could have ever happened. Yeah. And then I've seen all these pictures of people that got like 3 of them.
Tell the
okay, wait,
tell the
hold
audience about this Twitter handle.
Yeah. So it's a real thing. Like people got to buy an Xbox for
Some people bought like 2 or 3
discount.
Yeah. Some people bought multiple. Everybody's like posting pictures and being like,
"What
thanks,
is that?
man."
Somebody refreshed a page or something and just left a typo in the price, and now it's listed as 105, so it sells for 105.
Yeah, just a pricing error. Because whenever you place the order, the thing is everybody was doing it for pickup, so that they wouldn't have their order canceled. So yeah, everybody was going in there, buying them, adding them to their cart, checking out, and then they were immediately driving to Walmart before it got canceled. And then the Walmart employee, they don't know. They just say like, "Okay, you have a receipt. It's paid for. Here you go."
Dang.
Yeah.
Did you see the Nathan For You thing where he sells $1 big screen TVs in a store, but he enforces a strict dress code with just like a tuxedo, and then you have to like crawl through like a really tiny hole, and then there's an alligator.
For the person that's gonna buy the dollar TV,
The
they have to go through all this.
Yeah. He's like, whenever you have a special, you have to have like, there's an asterisk next to it. So we can get people in the store when they realize it's too hard to get the cheap TV, then maybe they'll buy something else.
No. Brandon, tell us about this Twitter handle. Give us the handle right now, or else you'll kick off the show.
I believe it's Deal Vibes with a Z.
Deal Vibes. Deal Vibes with a
Quick, everyone hop onto your devices. We're about to crash Deal Vibes' Twitter handle. I don't think that's the thing you can crash, but he is about to experience an extremely intense onrush of followers.
Bape Crocs. You know what Bape is? B-A-P-E?
Yeah, a bathing ape.
Crocs.
Oh my lord, $123 at Walmart.
That's what it was. Isn't that awesome? So yeah, so even if you have one already, there are people that are buying 2 or 3 of them, and they're making a quick, $600 or $700.
Yeah, go resell them for even cheaper. Just go resell them for $300.
You can sell it on eBay $400 all day long if it's brand new.
Holy moly! 4,800 or 48,000 BTU propane patio heater.
I'm looking at that.
$69.
Dude, I almost bought one
all
before.
Over that.
I don't even have a patio.
Neither do I. I might just buy them and put them around my neighborhood.
Put them up everywhere.
No, I got I think it was either Kohl's or one of those places, but they have like their furniture section, and there ended up being a price glitch across all of their furniture. And I saw it right away, and I went on, and everything was like $1 and $2. So I went and just started adding stuff to my cart and trying to buy as much as I could at, I'll figure out what I'll do with it later kind of thing. And then eventually I got, emails for every single one saying your order's been canceled, your order's been canceled, your order's been canceled.
Is that why there was so much patio furniture sitting in your house?
That's why, yeah. As you'll notice, I'm sitting on an outdoor couch. But
can't combine stuff.
So it was all canceled, and I was like, oh, well, that's a bummer, whatever. Lo and behold, about a month later, the UPS guy shows up, needs my signature. This, like, huge credenza that I got for, like, $1.50, and that $1.50 was refunded to me, was delivered to my house. and I still have it in the box in my garage. As it's been like a year and a half now, and I don't know what to do with it.
As image bearers of the Almighty God, do we say it's okay to use this Twitter loophole, this X-Access loophole, to buy discounted products?
I'm buying it for the price that the store is selling it to me. I'm not stealing
that's true. If the opportunity for the transaction is given and you take it, is it really on you if that transaction is not working out for both parties as well as it could have?
No, I don't. Maybe they meant to sell this furniture for $1.99. I don't know. Maybe they're running out of warehouse space.
Well, I got one. Since we don't really talk about finances very much on this show, but since Will opened us up talking about fiscal responsibility, I am seeing a lot of buzz where I'm supposed to panic because the stock market's decline is indicative of how poor a president we as a people have elected. And
it's just a discount.
I'm kind of tired of how everything is getting twisted, but also I want clarity. I mean, you say it's a discount. It's just the ebb and flow of the market as we're gearing up for a new season with a new coach, or is something deeper going on that we need to be nervous about?
Well, I don't think it's
for the listening audience. Will is holding up a picture of a moped for some reason.
It's $105.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. You're gonna drive that into the Capitol.
I would.
No, but the thing is, you can't scroll too far down because then they fix the error, right?
Yeah. So I
I'm
keep.
sure you got to jump on stuff. Yeah.
You've been very quiet, David. Is this because
he hasn't looked up from his phone since we introduced this app?
I keep alerts on, by the way.
Yeah.
So
that checks out.
Yeah. But I think one thing that came out today is prices are falling. Inflation's gone down for the first time in who knows how long. And with that, it's not uncommon to when we see, inflation slow or start to reverse course, the stock market, reciprocates by selling off just
Correct.
because it's, there's increased validity in that kind of market environment. Go ahead.
I think, Miguel, you complimented me on my shirt and my cufflinks. Our viewing audience.
Second week in a
for
row.
the second week in a row.
Showing up correct.
Next week, I'm just going to be wearing cufflinks because I would have lost the shirt off my back in this stock market. So I'm very excited to see this economy get back on the right track so that I can start feeding my family again. But to Brandon's point, I think this is a natural shift, natural retreat in the market, and I think that the president's movements when it comes to shrinking. Let's take it back. Let's have a quick, brief history lesson here. The first 2 years.
I love history lessons.
The first 2 years of Ronald Reagan's presidency. For everyone who's listening, go back and read about those 2 years. Those are some of the worst. Those were some of the worst experiences in his entire presidency. First day he's in office, he gets the Iran hostages out. It's a big rah-rah, and then the next 2 years are a slog. And if memory serves me correctly, he got demolished in the midterms. But 2 years later, he won in the largest electoral college margin ever in his re-election. Well, it's because short-term pain, long-term gain, and I think that's where the president and the administration are kind of positioning themselves economically. We have to do some things that are hard right now that kind of suck.
Yeah, but I think, there's all this fervor behind we need to, support the middle class, and then you have liberals who are talking about how Donald Trump just wants to make the rich richer, blah, 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 blah. But obviously that's not what's playing out right now. Whenever we see gas prices fall, whenever we see the price of groceries fall, whenever we see inflation slow down or even reverse course, but the stock market suffering, that's the exact opposite of this narrative that people are attempting to paint over Donald Trump and where his priorities are. If his priorities are making the rich richer, he's doing a bad job because, Mr. Billionaire didn't mind paying $9 for his eggs. But, so-and-so who's just barely scraping by that, doesn't even understand how the stock market works and doesn't have time to because they're too busy trying to figure out a way to buy eggs. This works great for those people. And that's the rising tide that raises all ships, is whenever you have a strong middle class. And yeah, it'll all shake out in the end. But, the only people that are having a bad time are the people that could afford to have a lot of money invested in the stock market in the first place.
Wages increase, unemployment, real unemployment, not the unemployment numbers that we've been seeing out of Joe Biden for the past 4 years. Real unemployment drops. And we find ourselves in a position where the middle class is indeed stronger again. Not bringing the upper class down to the middle class, but bringing the lower class up to the middle class.
And I think a lot of people saw that the stock market was good, kind of in a bubble for a really long time. And this isn't really that unexpected.
1,000%.
And I think you guys probably know this guy, Warren Buffett. Buffet.
Never heard of that Buffet guy.
No, it's Buffet.
Phoebe Buffet? Is he related to her?
No, he's Berkshire Hathaway, and he invented buffets. Oh. And he was liquidating so much of his position in Berkshire Hathaway. So I think he saw it too. But, yeah, moving on, right? Like, things will bounce back and prices should adjust. So,
to me, the wildest aspect, though, is what Brandon was talking about. Everything gets so twisted. I mean, how are you going to... Look at how the government is being dismantled and all of this pilfering of tax dollars is being uncovered. That's not money that's coming to us. The money that gets pilfered and stolen and corruptly funneled around is not coming to the middle class. That's going to the wealthy people that own corporations and run systems and are in places where they can funnel that money off. So when you look at evidence of that stuff and then you see him, I mean, I say him, I'm not trying to pin it all on Trump, but when you see the administration uncovering that kind of fraud and then also doing these steps where, hey, we're gonna take the reins back of our economy and we're gonna settle things out so that the middle class, I just don't understand how you can actually write headlines that are claiming that he's attacking the American people, calling people flat out. Man, I can't believe the word escaped me. It's the person that's an idiot, but he's like celebrating. He's not Rube. No, it's like the idiots that's like put on display for everybody else. I can't remember. But people online are calling.
Oh, DC Drano.
Oh, the DC Drano.
Tillian?
It's just Tullian. It's just entire demographics of voters being lambasted as fools for having voted something in, but that's not reality. I just don't understand how it continually becomes the narrative and people get away with it. David, you raised your hand.
I would like to interrupt. I want to compliment you. Pilfering, pilfered, and lambast in one sentence or one rant. I didn't know that pilfering was a word. I had to Google it.
Thank you.
And I fancy myself, quite the wordsmith. So, I play a lot of crossword puzzles, something you love.
I do like.
Maybe that's where you learned it. You learned it in a crossword puzzle.
It's the homeschooling shows through. They make
French.
Make us read a lot as kids.
It has to do with booty, like stealing, pelting.
I just don't understand how the narrative can consistently be that publicly. Donald Trump is tearing down America. Donald Trump is attacking the middle class. Donald Trump just wants to save all this money for his billionaire tax friends. I don't understand how that is the consistent public narrative.
It's not a real narrative.
It's not a real narrative, but it is a broadcasted or a publicized narrative.
I think that what Will's saying is most people don't buy it.
Yeah, like I can have a broadcast publicized narrative that, you, Miguel,
I think it's ignorant. I think it's ignorant to say that most people don't buy it. I deal with a lot of people within my own family that buy it, not to mention the random strangers I interact with online that buy it, not to mention the voices of people that trickle down through other people connected to my life of people that are buying it. Like, it's not...
But you're listing all these people who are we're not talking about half the country. We're
We are
talking about
half the
people.
country that thinks that Donald Trump is destroying everything because that's what they're being fed. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that's what they're being fed. And that's
You realize in a national poll put out by CNN and ABC News, over 70% of people affirm what Doge is doing.
Yeah, and Miguel, a lot of the people on X are bots, and I hate to break this to you because this could be bad news, but your family might be bots. You might want to look into that.
Man, there are a couple family members that I wouldn't mind if they were bots.
Is DC Drano a bot?
Yeah, he's for sure a bot. We talked about NPCs. No, I mean, I don't think that our country split 50-50 ideologically is correct. I believe they're not. I have a lot of liberal friends who are logical, normal people who have brains that function. They don't, buy all of the stuff the media tells them.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have friends who are really big into Teletubbies, and they're Reddit moderators.
Interesting.
That didn't land.
Yeah, you are who your friends are. You are. What is the term? You are who you hang out with.
No.
Yeah,
you are what you eat.
You
can
are
be
what you eat.
Yeah,
and for me, it's McDonald's right before a podcast. What?
Zing.
Nothing wrong with that. Will's done that for 3 shows.
I love McDonald's.
It's great.
I would say that we can have these opinions right now. We can hold these opinions right now, but it's all going to change. I think that time in political years is 4 years is a long time. I think there's a lot that's going to happen between right now, this very moment, and the other 3 years and 3.75. So, it's a long time till the end of his term, and I think he's going to use this. I think this is going to be used to turn it around. There has to be pain, and it's the same thing that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago with the cuts of these different departments. Who, by the way, saw 1,300 people at Department of Education going bye-bye. That's a lovely number.
I said to clear your desk.
1,300.
1,300 bye-bye.
How bad of a system do you have that you can get rid of 1,300 people in the blink of an eye like that?
Exactly. But you have to do those kind of cuts right now. And in the long run, it's going to work. It's going to come out. We're going to come out on the other side stronger. It just hurts right now. And that's kind of the way that I'm looking at this economy is like, yeah, it hurts right now. But the people who have a lot of money in the stock market this very day, if you have a lot of money in the stock market, you probably have some more money lying around. So go ahead and go buy some more because it's only going to go up. Like the American economy is not going to crumble into non-existence under this Trump administration. It's a risk to say that. I realize that, but it's a risk I'm willing to take because I don't think it's going to happen. And if I'm wrong, I again will find myself without a shirt on my back. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, it's not to say that I'm sure something catastrophic can always happen. Yes, but
David, do you need batteries?
No, it was on my phone, and I have something I'd like to talk about.
That's his alarm.
the high school.
Bring up your topic now.
The high school track. It was relay, and this girl is running.
Yes.
Do you want to?
No. I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to hype you up, bro.
I know, Miguel. I've been there too.
Things. Jeez.
Cheese.
Oh. Hey, at least it's not me.
So she bashed this lady in the head and cracked her skull, and then they're interviewing her afterwards, and she's in her home, and she's like, a lot of people are talking about her injury. What about my mental injury? Smoke alarm chirp. In the video.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's bad.
Wait, why is that funny? David, why is that funny?
No. I didn't think it was funny at all.
This is
I don't get
an SNL skit.
I don't understand. Why is that funny?
I thought it was funny that she would say, she was referencing y'all going off of one clip or one angle off of one video and making all these assumptions. Yeah, we saw that one clip from that one video and you smacked that girl in the back of the head with that thing. That's why we're all jumping to conclusions.
It was pretty brutal. It was like a wind up and it was bad.
That is not your phone, by the way.
You play
Yes, it is.
volleyball?
I just did it right now. Yes, I play volleyball. Hold on.
Okay.
What? I have it.
How to flirt in tennis.
Okay. It is my phone.
Oh man, that sucks. That's
We're so sorry for you, David.
What are you watching before you get in here to record? What is going on?
No, that was just from last time he was on YouTube.
No, it wasn't.
We're gonna have a.
You guys are stupid.
We're gonna have a Miguel is so wrong segment, and then a David's love life segment.
How do you?
Jeez.
That's what happens when you open Instagram Reels. It has a new one every time. And the last one I was on was
Sure.
How to flirt in
smoked-
tennis.
No, the last one I had was smoke detector chirp. No one believed me. And then I opened up my app again, and it reloaded, and it was how to flirt in tennis. Which I already know. I already know how to do that.
You how the algorithm
You do understand.
feeds you what
these
you
are
want to
all-
see.
These are all targeted at you, correct? Through your algo,
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I play
yeah.
tennis. What do you want?
and you also, I guess, need to know how to
To
flirt.
talk to a girl. You guys are all three married, so you don't really know what flirting is anymore. But it's
Yeah,
when you
and
make
let me
a girl
tell you-
feel special. What
So
do
the
you want
U.S.
to
and
talk about?
Ukraine have agreed to resume
Yes,
military aid
dude,
after
yes,
a ceasefire.
yes.
A significant development in international relations. Right now, we're just waiting on Russia to agree to the terms. But negotiations have resumed, and again,
are you
Ukraine
talking like
has agreed to a ceasefire, and we await Russia's response.
Walter Cronkite, I need you to tone it down just a hair.
That
So
wasn't. It wasn't a
Did we
bad news.
basically? No, it wasn't bad at all.
Thanks. So anybody have thoughts?
Did we basically just watch Donald Trump give a masterclass on negotiation tactics on national
I
TV?
told
for the whole-
you people. I told you people. You didn't listen to me. I said this is exactly what we're doing right now. And here's the thing. He's going to take his new best friend, Vladimir Putin, and he's going to march himself right over to the Middle East, and he's going to fix that little problem, which is really the crowning achievement out of all the things that he does from a foreign
The crown
policy
jewel, as it
standpoint.
was referred to last episode.
Yes, the crown jewel.
I like that.
I think it's fabulous. If there's one thing that he got right in the first administration, it is foreign policy, and he's doing it all over again. And I'm astounded on a regular basis at how he's done this. It's he and his team
Him and his team.
I was gonna have a clause after that, but
He's right.
it's just I don't even think it's just team. I think it's the president just doing what the president does. This is like art of the deal stuff that we're doing here, and it's incredible to witness firsthand. Because at the end of the day, like, who cares? Like, who cares what happens with Russia and Ukraine? Like, those guys can duke it out to the end of time, and both of them are going to lose. So he just chose to find a way to bring peace there, so that in a manner in which he could utilize one of the people in the relation in this disagreement, to leverage them against the actual real enemy.
Yeah, I don't want to toot our own horn, but I have not heard that spoken about anywhere in terms of like that 4D chess playing future moves. I think the other kind of crazy aspect about it is everybody's going to jump on like, oh, he said he was going to do it in the first day, the first week, he did it within like the first couple months. Like, it got done. And I can separate the hyperbole from the man, because I speak in hyperbole all the time. Everything I do is, oh, this is the best meal I've ever had. This is the worst. Like, it's fine that he talks big when he's in a microphone. He actually came in and got it done within the first like 2 months of his break.
So
First 100 days, Miguel.
Solved
That's how we measure things.
a global crisis within the first 100 days. That's how we measure things in the White House. I know.
So we're just continuing to see how all of the narratives about Donald Trump, it happens every day. They all crumble. They can't be defended. So, for instance, we talk about, first of all, this negotiation that's taking place between Russia and Ukraine, and any of these negotiations, whether it be tariffs with Canada, China, whatever, maybe not so much China, but he comes into it, and it's like, this is the easiest negotiation that he's probably done in his entire life. Because how many situations can you come into where you hold every piece of leverage that one could possibly have? There's nothing that anybody else can even come to the table with.
I'm not playing cards. Remember when Zelensky replied?
Yeah, right. Well, you are, bud.
Do you guys know what the tariffs are about? Why are we raising tariffs right now?
They're reciprocal.
Because everybody's been tariffing snot out of us.
two reasons.
Okay, one is they're reciprocal because
One
people
is
have been
they're
taking advantage of our situation. There's no Chevys in, Germany, but there's BMWs everywhere you look. What's the other reason?
The other reason is the migrant/drug problem that we have. And I put those two hand in hand
Sure.
because it's migrants coming over the border with fentanyl. And both of those things can easily be resolved. I think the sticking point right now is probably the latter. But once we get to resolution there, we're all going to agree time would have passed and there would have been enough pain on both sides of the table that both parties are going to want to lower tariffs.
Yeah.
So he's using tariffs once again to accomplish the overall mission, which is to stop the flow of migrants into illegal immigrants into the United States and stop the flow of fentanyl into the United States.
Yeah. Well, and
he's
also
willing to take that, to make that bet, putting the American economy on hold by raising tariffs in order for us to get to a point. You can't get their attention, right? What's the hook? You just turn to a country and say, hey, stop sending illegal immigrants across our borders. Hey, start trying to police the stuff that's coming into our country because it's got fentanyl in it. Where's the hook? The hook is tariffs.
Yeah. No, it's all the bargaining power. And that's what I mean about the crumbling narrative is the United States has held all of the power for a long time now, but the reason why you have past presidents and administrations unwilling to use that power for the good of the American people is for their own standing on the world stage. But if the narrative for Donald Trump has always been, well, Donald Trump just wants everybody to like him and love him and everything else. He doesn't actually care about the country. It's all about boosting his own ego. It's like, this is the first guy that came in and said, I don't care if all of the EU and beyond hates me and thinks I'm an idiot and thinks whatever. This is what's good for...
Who cares?
Yeah, this is what's good for the United States. I don't care if Canada is going to make me public enemy number one and talk about blah, 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 blah. I don't care. We're making America better. Why should I care?
You want me to really blow your minds?
Hit me.
Blow it.
Go.
So who on this quad box uses TikTok?
No.
No? Miguel?
Quad box is cool, but no.
I use YouTube Reels like an adult.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too. And they show me things about tennis flirting.
Okay. So we don't, but the vast majority of Americans do
True.
in some capacity. Okay. TikTok's going to go away, cease to exist in the United States in a matter of 24 days, maybe 23 days. I don't remember what the exact time is. But in short order, it's going to cease to exist unless they're able to get enough of the company divested and into U.S. investors' hands, then approved by the Department of Justice for a merger for these purchases, they can continue to exist. Donald Trump in that seat has all the negotiating power in the world. So, what should he do with that? He should also, art of the deal this thing, grab a little bit more of TikTok. Instead of having TikTok appoint whomever from some foreign country, China, or whoever from a foreign country to be their CEO and to lead this company, he could turn to TikTok if he wanted to and say, hey, you're an American company now. Go get an American CEO.
Yeah. Well, he's talked about the United States government taking a vested interest into the
That's a bad idea.
into TikTok.
That's a bad idea.
That's a weird thing.
But he has the ability to handpick the next person to run and force it down their throats, and they can't say boo about it. You're an American company, you have an American running the joint. And think about the long-term implications that has on not just his presidency, but elections to come. Because we know that the liberal deep state and the liberal elites, tech elites, use their platforms, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, before Elon bought it, Instagram, Reddit. They use their influence to shift the national narrative, just as Miguel was alluded to earlier. Like, he has the ability to install somebody as CEO who's going to, a Elon Musk type, that's going to look at this and judge it fairly, which is all that we're asking for at the end of the day. Think about the power that the presidency has. No one understands just how much you can weaponize is too strong of a word, but utilize it for the benefit of the American people.
Well, use it offensively for the benefit of the American people, not just
offensively. That's a good way to put
be a figurehead where the buck stops with the president. No.
No, we can go on the offensive with this.
Yeah.
That's just another example when we're stacking things up, whether it be the tariff negotiations, whether it be Ukraine, Russia. We can extend it over to the private sector of TikTok. That's the power. I don't know, by the way, if the White House is going to do that. If I were talking to the White House right now and the decision makers for TikTok, that's what I would say. Like, that's your tool. You have all the power. You either do this or have fun in purgatory for the rest of your lives.
Well, is the agreement, or is the stipulation not still that they need to find an American buyer? Can they exist independently?
Majority stake has to be United States.
Oh, I thought they had to sell outright.
I don't think so. I think it just has to cumulatively be American.
Well, speaking of social media, did you see Dig is back?
What is back?
Nobody is Dig. Dig is like the Reddit alternative that closed down.
Is this MySpace?
Interesting. DIGG. Look it up.
I've never heard
Dig is back. And then another weird thing that happened today that people might have seen is Trump's slinging Teslas now.
Oh, boy.
I saw that post. He's going to go out and buy one himself just to show Elon how much you.
No, he already did. Elon brought his own personal Tesla car lot to the White House, and Donald Trump chose red Model S, and he bought it. And then
he
Trump
can't drive.
He's not allowed to drive. You're right.
What a terrible thing to not be able to drive as president.
I know, it's a bummer.
I love driving.
But
I like driving my car directly backwards into my parking spot. I love driving.
The president of the free world can't own a Tesla in the garage of his house and get in it and drive. Of course he can. Well, I don't understand why.
Not on a public road.
Drive.
Take your driver's license.
Not on a public road.
The first half you said is he can own it. He just can't drive it.
Donald Trump will never drive a car for the rest of his life.
When do you think the last time he drove a car was?
Okay, that's fine if that's a personal choice, but why are you guys saying he's not allowed to?
Secret Service won't let him.
Yeah.
Is it true? Is it true that when you
Service
become president that you get your driver's license and like personal debit cards and personal accounts like taken from you? Like you can't access them while you're sitting president? Is that true or no?
No.
Okay, that's something that I read.
How do you think Biden laundered all that money?
Through his son.
You think he didn't have a checking accult when he was doing that?
What you
He
think?
Venmo.
Who you think Bill Clinton's using tax dollars at the club? Like, what do you?
No, he brought that
Brandon,
saxophone with him.
Here's some treasury bills.
So it is.
Singles.
It is. I'll tell you guys. I'll regale you of a funny Trump story.
Yes.
All right. 104.
So we can cut all this. Yes. I think
No. We're gonna make it a really special TikTok.
Okay.
What should we say? Former White House spills the tea on Donald Trump.
Former staffer. So he said.
And then we're gonna put the picture of you walking out of Trump Tower from the New York Times as like the thumbnail.
Have you made those shirts yet? You need to make those shirts.
I'm not making those shirts. This is
not
culture.
You. I was talking to Wes.
Culturally relevant podcast shirts.
Yeah, we gotta open the business account still.
So it's a slow day at Mar-a-Lago, right? And so we're kind of walking around the grounds, and there's a kind of an obscure part of the property. There is a garage, and I thought it was like for the landscaping guys, and they park their gators down there and their work trucks. No. Part of the garage was for that, but the other larger part he takes me into. And there is every dream car that the four of us could ever think of.
You're saying Donald Trump takes you in personally?
Yes. And, of course, we have a Secret Service detail with us because everywhere he goes, he has a Secret Service detail. And he's like telling me to go tell those guys that I want to get behind the wheel, that I, Mr. President, want to get behind the wheel of the car and go drive him around the property. And I said, sir, you're going to have to talk to them about that. And I said, but I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this.
Let's take a cruise down A1A.
That Ferrari over there, you got to drive those things and open them up every now and then. If you ever need anybody to do that, I am your man. I will fold myself up into a pretzel and go take the. Go really
That's what I was
open
going to
it
say.
up.
I can't imagine either you or President Trump fitting themselves into a Ferrari. Like,
Doesn't matter.
You make it work.
Miguel, that does
you got
not
one
matter.
leg out the window.
It does not matter, man. Like when you're a billionaire, what do you care? Just owning it is like that.
It just looks
Take
cool in the
shower
garage.
breaths.
Right. He had a Bentley in there. He had a Bentley Phantom.
Ooh.
He had the Porsche.
He seems like a Rolls guy.
I'm sorry. He was at Rolls. Was it the Rolls Phantom?
I'm not sure. David's the car guy.
I'm a motor sport guy, not a.
Oh. Did he have an F1
He
car?
likes F1
No, he did
cars.
not.
Not
No,
bad.
I like watching competitive racing. I don't really care about.
I think you're right. It's a Rolls. He did have a Rolls Phantom in there. He had Bentley in there. He had a Ferrari in there. I don't think he had a Porsche.
Interestingly, he had a PT Cruiser. that was weird.
He had one of those Chevy Astro van. Yeah, he had one of those Chevy Astro vans with the TV in it. It was kind of.
He had 3 Geo trackers.
David's about to crash out because he just got disconnected again.
No, I'm just making sure that the recording works. I think did it stop?
It's on your microphone.
Headphones.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to have you run that story back.
No. Wait. So should I just stay on? How bad is this right now?
You're fine. I think we're almost done anyways.
Yeah. Let's just wrap.
We are.
Let's just wrap. I'll still hold it like
All right.
this.
Miguel, hit us with a rap.
It's a wrap.
My
there
name
was
is
one-
Miguel. I don't
That was
really smell.
abrupt.
Wait, that's not going to work. That's not going to work.
There was something
We were
I
talking about something.
Said Donald Trump. Miguel, I need you to make a comment about Donald Trump and his cars, and then be like, "Okay, we've been culturally relevant enough."
No, I think we heard the PT Cruiser part.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, we were. I just imagine being the president of the United States and having a beautiful car collection and not being "quote unquote" allowed to drive them. There's no way. There's no
Them's
way
the
you don't
rules,
catch me.
man.
There's no way you don't catch me ditching that Secret Service every weekend.
Well,
Come
what he
find me.
should do,
Come find me, boys.
what he should
You
do
know
is go to Daytona, because he's been there a million times with the race, and like just have one of his cars out there that he could just drive around in a circle.
Yeah, it's
and
a
it'd be
private-
so fun. It would be so funny to have like the Secret Service cars like tailing him as he goes around.
Trying to keep up.
Trying to keep up. That's right.
Boys, I think we've been culturally irrelevant long enough. It's a good episode when we come in with no idea of what we're going to talk about, but we still bring you the news, the humor, the wit, the intelligence, and all the good looks that you've become accustomed to. Anything else you guys want to wrap up with?
A Canadian liquor company removed U.S. products from shelves, potentially impacting trade relations.
Thank you, Walter.
I'll take all that short-term pain for the long-term gain. That's right, Will.
That's right, baby. I'll be without my shirt next week.
Preach it. All right, boys. We'll get back together again next week and do it again.
Okay, we tried.
If you insist. We tried really hard. This was an episode. It was.
I don't know what happened. It was so loosey goosey, but it's not like we ever stick to show notes in the first place.
I don't know. I feel so much better.
This has been an episode of Culturally Irrelevant, a production by us. Check it out on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or any other major podcast platform by searching for the Culturally Irrelevant Podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you back with the boys next week.